Okay, hello everyone. I'm sorry. First of all, I do want to apologize because this interview was scheduled at 2 o'clock, so we are already late by half an hour. There was some technical issues, so sorry about that. Now, I do have a very special guest with me right
Before that, whenever there is a problem with anything, you can blame technical issues or traffic. Once you can say these two things, every kind of delay, I guess, is forgiven. So please continue.
So you're right. The traffic was one of the
yes. So technical reasons and traffic, common problems. Let's go.
So you guys must have seen, sir, on the new channels like CNBC, NDTV, or all these new channels. So he does appear on this Bitcoin panel discussions, right? But here is an opportunity for you guys to ask him a question live right now on this crypto conversation. First of all, sir, I want to thank you for taking time out and coming on the crypto conversation. I'm sure the audience is going to love this. And I think you're already a fan of crypto community, because people in India, they know that they really have a lot of respect, and you're like hero for them at least on the new channels. So yeah, I mean, you don't need any introduction, but just in case of people who might not know you, would you like to talk a little bit about yourself?
Okay, so it's like there's this expression in Hindi which says "Asman se gira, khajur mein atka." So having told me that I need no introduction, I will give my introduction. Okay, I just hold this in case that gives you a slightly better audio.
Yeah.
So, engineer, MBA, 47-year-old, angel investor for 20 years, into Bitcoin for a little over a year. September 2016 is when I started. Have put more money into Bitcoin than I had put into angel investing in 20 years. Okay, so in 15 months I put more there. So that tells you that either I'm really stupid or I'm really smart. Time will tell, right? And hopefully by the end of this video, you guys would make an opinion yourself. Not much else to say here. As in, big fan of crypto, big believer. Have done very little other than crypto over the last 15 months, and intend to increase my engagement with this space as much as possible.
Right. So one of the things that you already, I mean, before actually coming into crypto community and before actually getting into Bitcoin, you're already helping a lot of startup in success, and you've been a mentor yourself, and then somebody like you, getting into cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin, it leaves a lot of huge example for the people, to somebody whom they can follow. Obviously, I already have a suggestion that whenever it comes to investing, and on this conversation also, this is not going to be an investment advice or financial advice, guys. This is just going to be a normal discussion, and of course, if you're investing anywhere, please do your own due diligence. So the first question, sir, I wanted to know, considering what is happening with the exchanges right now. So there was a huge surge in the terms of the demand for Bitcoin. And a lot of exchanges in India, actually, they had to stop doing the KYC, and people had to wait for like 5 to 10 days sometimes. So what's your take on it? Is it that the surge has increased so much that these exchanges are not able to handle it, or are they facing some regulatory issues or something like that?
So I think, frankly, I'm sure regulatory issues are happening all the time, but the problem you have listed in terms of why our accounts taking so much time to set up, etc., is primarily happening because of volume. Okay, so that is what it is, and I think that things are getting back on track, as in what was taking 20 days in certain exchanges has now come down, like, again, to reasonable numbers like 2 days and stuff. And I think that probably some of your viewers who have not yet taken a position, right, could consider getting their KYC done. Right. I don't think it costs any money. I don't think anybody is charging anything, right? Yeah, so get it done and be ready for transacting when you choose to do so.
True. So I mean, there are like about 10 to 13 exchanges already. So you don't really have to stick to one exchange in particular in order to transact, right? So coming back to the entire scenario, sir. Of course, there was a recent discussion about Bitcoin having the high transaction fee and low transaction speed. And a lot of people actually said, is it going to be successful? Is Bitcoin Cash, the other hard fork version of Bitcoin? They called it, maybe this is a Bitcoin. And So how do you look at this entire scenario right now? Where do you see Bitcoin right now compared to the other cryptocurrencies?
Okay, that's a good question. So since we are not comparing Bitcoin with fiat currency, we are comparing Bitcoin with a cryptocurrency. If you take it from a purely technical point of view, there are dozens, maybe even hundreds, but definitely dozens of cryptocurrencies that are technologically superior to Bitcoin. Which is not a surprise at all, because Bitcoin was first, everybody else saw them, tried to improve upon them, quite often successfully. So I don't think the fact that an Ethereum network probably seems good, or EOS seems still better, etc., that is reasonable. Having said this, if today I go home and using composite or whatever that is called from where chocolate is made, suppose I make some very high quality chocolate, I don't think that Cadbury is about to shut down. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So the as long as Cadbury is doing a good job of chocolate, the fact that somebody comes with a superior product doesn't always beat it, but it could. So the position I'm taking is that barring the top few, which if you want me to list them would be Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, and frankly I have trouble going beyond this. Okay. Like if somebody says why not Litecoin, there's, as in I don't have any big problem with it, but I find that the market cap as well as the concentration of ownership is such that probably some people can influence the price, which I don't like.
True.
Why not Ripple? Ripple, I think, is the only currency which philosophically is opposed to the rest of the Bitcoins, because it's made by banks, and frankly it is a fiat cryptocurrency. That is in a sense, that's what I would say. So really I don't have a very long list. You can go to cryptocompare.com, which I have nothing to do with, but you can go there and see a list of, 16, 1700 of those, right? So I think that I worry that Bitcoin Cash someday can become the Bitcoin, right? Because it's identical to Bitcoin in all ways, except slightly better. But the kind of legacy that Bitcoin has already set up, I think it's going to be very difficult to displace it from first position.
True. So the only advantage I guess I have Bitcoin Cash right now is 8 MB block size, and because of which there have been debate. And Ripple, you rightly said that Ripple was a complete shock to me. I mean, the idea of the entire Bitcoin and blockchain technology is decentralization.
Right.
And when people are intending towards Ripple, so either two things: whether they have not understood what is the philosophy behind Bitcoin, right? Or the other thing, they want to make quick money. So let's go there.
So the make quick money thing, I think you can buy anything.
Correct.
And then it does not have to be cryptocurrency. I can say, hey, let me buy this for 1 rupee because I can sell it for 2. So the trader's mentality, which by the way is most welcome in a marketplace, I have no comment on.
Correct.
When people ask me, do you buy Ripple? Would you buy Ripple? I have a very simple answer. I say my religion doesn't permit it. It's simply that, because see, ultimately every system of value, whether it's gold, fiat currency or whatever, is a system of belief. Religion is a system of belief. So if Bitcoin becomes your religion, then you can at least say that Ripple, my religion doesn't allow me to permit in Ripple. Other cryptocurrencies are okay.
So you're so right. I mean, this is the, for me, so give my personal opinion. I mean, from what excites me about the entire space is not just the money. So money eventually comes. But what really excites me is the technology, the philosophy behind it, right? And you rightly said, I mean, this is something that I tweeted the other day, that if you are really investing into Ripple, please mind that you are feeding the current banking system. And if you're okay with it, go there.
See, I'll tell you what. Unlike you who said that money is not that important, for me money is very important. Let me be clear on that. Having said that, money is not everything is also true. So for example, when I purchased my first few entry point Bitcoin in third quarter end or fourth quarter of 2016, I bought it around 40,000 rupees. It at a given day had reached 20 lakh rupees on the Indian exchanges, which is 50 times in about 13, 14, 15 months, right? It did not even occur to me that I should sell, honestly. So if I was really that money minded, I would have probably have sold at 12 lakhs, not waited for 20, maybe sold at 6 lakhs, right? The thing is that while I do not find myself capable of making price decisions in the short term, kal kya price ho jayega, what will be the price in next month, what is the peak of 2018, I can make guesses for fun, but really I have no capability of that. I also believe nobody has the capability of that. If anybody is doing that, they are frankly scamming you, or they are being overconfident for no reason. These are the kind of people who should take up bungee jumping as a profession because they like to do risky activity, and once in a while they should consider doing bungee jumping without the cord because they are so brave, right, that they can predict the future. Right. But the philosophical aspect that the power comes back to the people, that my money becomes truly my money, I think that definitely has an attraction.
100%. I think 80% of the community who are involved into Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, the only reason they believe so much is because of this philosophy that we are going to be our own bank. And the power is coming back to us. So talking about the pricing that you mentioned recently, right? The 10% growth or 50%. Now, looking at the price growth, which has been amazing. Everybody is surprised. Everybody is surprised and everybody is shocked. And they come to one simple conclusion. Itna price growth ho raha hai, kuch gadbad hai. It is a bubble. So how do you look at those? And I'm sure when you appear on these discussions on these news channels, a lot of people have seen your talks, and they are also it's a bubble. So how do you react to that, and how do you handle that?
So first, let me answer the judgmental question of bubble or not bubble, and then I'll tell you about my opinion about why the price has moved the way it has. I must confess that this is a post facto analysis, namely the event has occurred, the price has shot up. Now in hindsight we can all sit here and become experts, which is what I'll be doing. Right? In foresight, if I could have said that, I would have sold my house, I would have mortgaged my wife's very few gold jewelry because we never got any really, and then bought Bitcoin with that, which I didn't, which means I was not at all confident this will happen, right? True. But having said this, let me first tell you this thing about bubble. The fact is that if something grows very rapidly, like 50x, 100x, I don't know, 3000x with for some altcoins, etc., the worry that this is unnatural is legitimate. Correct. Okay, I agree that if I were to see any share price go from 2 rupees to 2000 rupees or something, 2 rupees to 100 rupees for that matter, it would be a cause of concern and a red flag which you need to look at. But it is not enough to say that as a result, this is a bubble. For example, suppose Bitcoin was at 40,000 and Bitcoin was at 20 lakhs. Now Bitcoin is at 12 lakhs. Which was the correct price? If you assume that 40,000 was correct when it was 40,000, hence 20 lakhs is overinflated, what if we could take the view that 20 lakhs was the correct price, now it is underinflated or it is deflated at 12 lakhs? These are tough things to answer. But having said that about the price, there are three fundamental reasons. Reason number one is that we had the Chicago Mercantile Exchange and CBOE listed, and that gave a certain legitimacy, and it allowed new Wall Street kind of investors to come into the system who could take a position on Bitcoin without buying Bitcoin itself. Reason number two is that the media suddenly got very excited, right? Whether India or the US or any other country, the media has been demonstrated to have the power of even getting presidents and prime ministers elected. So when media suddenly starts talking of Bitcoin, if 10 crore new people or 1 crore new people hear about it, I think anybody who understands how internet or how funnels work, that probably a certain percentage of them, between 1 to 10% of them, would get interested in it. And maybe 10% of those 1 to 10% would want to put a little money in it. Because Bitcoin had no opportunity for shorting, which means you either buy or sell what you have. You can't sell more than what you have, or you sit tight. So Bitcoin actually had a naturally inflationary algorithm which has changed by the listing of the futures, because today you can in a very elegant way short Bitcoin, right? Like I said, I don't want to make any guess as to what the price will go to, but I think it is reasonable what I can share, because I don't want to be totally unhelpful, is that the last time I purchased Bitcoin was when the price was 2,10,000, when it had come down from about 3.5 lakhs all the way there. I wanted to buy at 2 lakhs, but I started buying at 2,10,000 and I never got at 2 lakhs. I placed a buy order at 8 lakhs when it fell down. It did go below 8 lakhs, but my order did not get executed. I am not selling. That I can tell you, which I think is reasonable to say that I feel I'm happier holding it with the upside possibility than getting out at this point. But you make your own decision.
Definitely. You brought back a very nice point. You spoke about media, and I 100% agree. I mean, this has been one of the reason why when CNBC talks about, when NDTV talks about, and not just the Indian media. I mean, Indian media is just a side effect. It more happens so in the West, on the when you appear on these CNBC channels and you go for these panel discussions, and people are not really don't understand what exactly Bitcoin is. They don't understand. They probably consider it, okay, there's so much money you can make, so it must be a Ponzi. Okay, it must be some MLM. So how do you actually handle that pressure? Can you give me some clue?
So there are three kinds of queries that we get in Bitcoin.
Right.
One tends to be at a very fundamental level that, hey, nothing is backing it. This is a scam. This is a bubble.
Correct.
And very interestingly, I have been on TV programs where the title of the program itself indicates that this is a bubble.
I saw your last one, and before actually the interview began, host called it a Ponzi.
Yeah. So it's very interesting when the title of the show itself basically says that when will the bubble burst or something along those lines. So there you go, knowing that you are going to basically be expected to apologize on behalf of everybody who believes in Bitcoin. And what you do is very simple. What I do is very simple. And this is what you guys can do when somebody tells you you're stupid, which you might be, like I might be also. Okay, there's nothing to say we are not. But when people find fault with Bitcoin, and there are faults for sure, using the same criteria, evaluate fiat currency also. You will find that fiat currencies end up in a much worse position, right? So if you just simply say, no, government backs it, and that is something that is hence obviously so positive, that's up to you. There are journalists, however, who will take specific cases. So I was in a place where some people had got stuck into truly some kind of Ponzi scheme based on Bitcoin.
True.
And the fact is that though I do not at all think that Bitcoin is a scam, but there is a lot of community around Bitcoin, business schemes, opportunities, etc., which are ridiculously scammy. And what happens is that since people like you and I, who have the ability to relatively easily believe something new, which is why we believe in Bitcoin, we also are likely to believe in some other things which should not have been believed in. Where do you stop? What is your level of credibility and gullibility becomes? So everybody's own level is the best. And third, I have come across at least one, maybe more programs where the anchor did not focus on is it a scam, is it not a scam at all, and just focused on dealing with Bitcoin as it was a commodity class, which I think is fabulous. I think that might happen more and more.
So this is something that I see in the news media on CNBC or any the other ones, not in India. But hopefully, I hope those kind of conversations starts happening on Indian television also, because what I see on the Indian television right now related to Bitcoin is crap. And it really, sometimes it really excites you so much that you really want to speak out that, listen, you don't know what you're talking about, better you don't broadcast it.
Yeah, so I'll tell you what. First of all the journalists on whose shows I have appeared, they're all my friends. So I refuse to accept that crap word. Not just because they're my friends, because I know they are doing their best.
True.
Having said that, since I guess this will be published as a video eventually on YouTube, I will give you a link or two of programs that have happened which actually are like what you describe, the best programs in the West. There have been party to that. So I'll give a YouTube link to those videos so you can see that some great work has happened.
Some great conversations have also happened related to Bitcoin in India. That's amazing.
Right. And finally, again to give you a little bit of a Hindi expression there, ke badnaam hi sahi, naam to hua. So I'm glad that media is talking about Bitcoin.
True.
Let people make their own judgment. Right? Let people make their own judgment. Like for example, I was on a program where one of the panelists, who of course was very anti-Bitcoin, which by the way I welcome.
Correct.
Because to evaluate and analyze anything, you obviously need multiple perspectives.
True.
But this guy actually said something so interesting that I burst out laughing in the studio. So this guy says that you would remember that a couple of years ago, we used to play a game called Farmville on Facebook. Where we used to do agriculture, and in return we used to get gold coins. So he said that Bitcoin is the same thing. A game like that which you mine and create coins, we have just taken it a little too seriously. So that is great, as in that guy might just be proven right and tomorrow we'll be licking our wounds, but I don't think so.
True. No, definitely. So we will take some questions now. So let us see. I had enough questions. I'm sure the people will have questions for you, sir. So
yeah,
let me see if I can get it on the laptop. Oh, probably.
So I don't. So this is, guys. Here's the thing. This is my life's first
First time ever.
first time ever YouTube live. First time ever YouTube live. So I'm privileged to be part of all of the people who are there, and thanks for being part of this. So I don't know how this entire YouTube live things works.
No,
Okay.
people are actually gonna love it, sir, because I tell you what. I mean, I have got a lot of comments from other people also who wanted to see you. Because they have seen you on CNBC, they have seen you on DTV and all that, So I'm sure people are loving it to have you live right now and to put across their own questions to you. So there are many questions actually. But so yeah, so here's the questions. Robert is here. Hi Robert, Rahul, Ritesh, what's up? So Ritesh already knows you. So he said, "Oh, Ajit ji, that's amazing."
Right.
Yeah. So Dinesh Prabhu is there. Rajkumar is here. Okay.
Back. So I have no taking point of what is the current price. I can't predict what is tomorrow, etc. I remain positive on the whole. So no, as in really that I cannot respond to. And again, it's not as if I'm keeping it a secret. Yeah. I'm sharing with you that I have not sold. Correct. I'm also sharing with you that I'm not buying. Right? But beyond that, trying to make sense of day-to-day price movement is just not possible. And by the way, I must tell you, I'm not saying it's not possible for me. I'm saying it's possible for nobody. Okay, so when you meet somebody who says, yeah, by March it will hit 18,000 and by middle of the year it will go to 30,000, but later it will fall down again to 10,000. If possible, or if you feel that you won't get into trouble, you should slap such a person, really, as in, come on now, how can you say such a thing? And if you are so brilliant, right, why don't you go and put your money where your mouth is?
True. So this, I think, becoming an expert in cryptocurrency is just by chance. कि मैंने बोला था देखो हो गया, otherwise होता नहीं कभी.
नहीं. This I don't buy. I spent 2 years studying Bitcoin before putting my first 1,000 rupees in it. 2 years.
The price prediction.
Oh, the price prediction.
जो आपने बोला कि now after 2 months this will become. So I mean, a lot of people, and you will see a lot of experts like this. And I agree with your point. So nobody can really be an expert into the space. Saying
no, so you can be an expert on some aspects of it, the technology. You can take an economic point of view. Right, but to say that you will have an opinion on where the price will move, especially in the short term, I think that these people. So there is one big advantage of trying to make price predictions. Media loves it. So for 2018 Bitcoin 1,000 US dollars, I'll be invited to many news channels who say, so, I think he will eat a part of anatomy. Right? If he can do that, then you are a YouTuber, man.
Yeah, otherwise it'll get censored. Yeah. So we have many questions up.
पूछो ना, थोड़े और क्वेश्चन लेते हैं.
So Tejinder Singh is there. Ajit Sir, great personality. Subhash.
वो तो है. Just kidding.
Hello sir, what is the future of Indian exchanges? Ramakant. So by the way, Ramakant is here. He's saying that what is the future of Indian exchanges?
I am very impressed by the government of India that they have not taken a knee-jerk reaction. अरे ये सब क्या है, बंद करो.
That's really
right. And Bitcoin exchanges have been around for the last couple of years. I think they have shown a very great sign of maturity by saying, let us understand it. I trust and hope that this maturity will continue. In fact, I trust that it will continue. So the future seems to happen.
Yeah, I mean, this is very nice. I mean, they have come up with so many circulars, like about 3 to 4 circulars so far, warning people about the risk in the cryptocurrency, which by the name is possible. Okay.
नहीं YouTube live, so this should have been like fabulous.
Oh, saying today most of the time the live video is not working properly and not able to hear the full conversation between you and people. I think there is a technical issue from your side. Please, okay.
I'm
You're offline. It says.
Yeah.
Went offline.
Shucks. But abhi mere khayal se I know
people watching right now.
No, I think it's working. I think it's
issues. Rakesh says, sir, I hold 32 Ethereum.
So Rakesh Anand says, I hold 32 Ethereum, 3 BCH, 1 BTC and 5 LTC. What is your PAN number? I want to talk to the income tax. I'm just kidding on that. Yeah.
Is it the time to sold off? So, I mean, this is a question that nobody can ever answer.
No, seriously, Rakesh. Seriously, what Shiv said is correct. There's no way that anybody can reasonably answer it. I can just tell you I don't hold all the coins that you list, right? But I do have Bitcoin and I'm not selling at present. But I may change my mind by this evening. Not likely, but I reserve that right. At this point, I'm not selling. Make your own decision, man, because this could go anyway. It could go down to like close to zero levels. It could go down to 10 to 50x of this level. The price movement could be very severe in either direction. Make up your own mind.
Cryptocurrencies are at the initial stage, and you should only invest what you can afford to lose. Like it's the standard statement that people make. So
if you can just click that blue arrow on the screen, then we will keep getting a live feed of the comments. Now we are blue arrow. Blue down arrow, just click it. Thanks. Great. Okay. Regulations or ban in India, which has more chance? Okay.
Government imposed tax.
No. One second. This is something that I think it's very important about this tax bit. Yeah. And how will the government impose tax? There is no doubt. And if you notice the video up to now, I have been like, say giving some doubt and saying aisa ho sakta, waisa ho sakta kind of thing. There is no doubt that if you make a profit, you have to pay tax on it. Okay, it can't be that if you make a profit by selling gold, you have to pay tax. If you make stock market, you don't have to, etc. Whatever the tax code is the tax code, right? So that is done. Now, what is the rate of tax? Well, depending on the income tax slab you are in. Right? If you have held for greater than 3 years, maybe you could take a point of view that it was long-term capital gain, but most of you have not held for more than 3 years. So if you are making money on any trades, when you buy, sell, if you are making a profit, that is taxable. Maybe your total amount of profit is so low that it is below the taxability limit. Talk to your chartered accountant or tax advisor. Maybe you can file an income tax return without having to pay tax. But profits made on all business activities, such as buying, selling, trading Bitcoin, is going to be taxable.
So Dinakar have a question. Is this considered as a commodity?
Yeah, so Dinakar, this is where the issue gets a little complicated. I think that currently the way the tax advice has been given to me, I must tell you I'm not a chartered accountant or a professional, is that you basically treat it as a short-term capital gain. Which means whether it was a commodity or not doesn't matter. Which means suppose I bought at 100 rupees and sold at 200 rupees, my short-term capital gain is 100 rupees. And whatever is my tax slab, in my case it is the highest slab because the highest slab is not too high, around 30% or so, I have to pay 30% as income tax to the government.
Right. And again,
you guys didn't like me saying all this now. Nobody in the world likes tax. The income tax officer also does not like tax. But that is not the point. Yeah. Right? Now somebody is asking whether if you mine Bitcoin, is it taxable? Okay, so first of all, earning money more than you spent is always taxable. Right? So if you mine Bitcoin, there are certain expenses you are undergoing, such as the cost of electricity, such as the cost of equipment or what have you. So you take the cost, the money that you earned, subtract your cost, account for it properly. You can't do this rudimentarily, and that is the profit you have made. Then this profit, the percentage of tax you have to pay on it is based on your tax slab. Please look up, there are various websites which list up to what income is what tax slab, up to what income is what tax slab. So whatever tax slab you fall in, it could be 0%, 10%, 20%, etc. That is the tax slab according to which you will pay. Somebody asked me, do I have to pay tax if I am a student? Does not matter.
Correct. As long as you're
everybody has to pay tax if they make money.
Yeah.
Should we worry about legality of cryptocurrency? Absolutely. Yeah. So according to me, if you ask me what are my biggest worries of cryptocurrency, they are threefold. One is the legality / regulatory aspect. Second is the fact that somebody's going to hack into it.
Yeah, that's the biggest one.
And the third is that the Bitcoin itself, so I've taken a Bitcoin bet and then some XYZ random cryptocurrency will come which will become the big Shah Rukh Khan of the cryptocurrencies, and I'll be like sitting with like
Bitcoin
with this guy. Yeah. Right. So, but at the same time, that regulatory issue, legality issue is something that we have to constantly be aware of. So far, like I said, the Indian government has not taken an adverse view, at least in terms of possessing Bitcoin, but they have not made any clarifications either. Right. So anybody who is, like, for example, I have told you on YouTube that I own Bitcoin, that I have purchased Bitcoin. I have written it in my income tax records that I purchased Bitcoin and such and such price. Right. So I have taken a position that it's my money. It is white money. It is from my HDFC bank account, which is KYC done. I transfer from there to ZepPay or what have you, and I purchase it. I am willing to show you both statements so you know how much I am making, and accordingly I am paying tax. So I feel I am doing okay. But at the same time, I'm not an expert in this. You're going to talk to some expert.
Definitely. I mean, when it comes to tax, definitely get in touch with your CA who will probably guide you in exactly how to go about it. Let's take some more questions. So, Sobia says, what will be the impact on Bitcoin with South Korea proposing a ban on any crypto trading since they are the major ones? Have they already proposed?
Yeah. In fact, that is what has led to the 10% or whatever percentage fall that has happened today. So that's latest news. So your audience, I can see, is very suave.
Yeah.
Right. So
they are very intelligent audience for sure.
Yeah. And by the way, any media person such as you should never call audience anything except very intelligent, because the very fact that they are choosing to watch you shows they are very intelligent.
Yeah.
But coming back to what you were saying. What has happened? So, for example, forget South Korea.
Yeah.
China banned those damned exchanges. True. And if South Korea contributes a lot, imagine how much China contributes. Yeah. Right? So, there was a downward spike and it all came back. So, it is very difficult to say that whether this will be the straw that breaks the camel's back. I have ignored this news. Okay, very simply because this is going to keep happening. As you know, governments get a little nervous about things. They will do that. I am hoping and betting that Bitcoin will survive all of these things.
I think this will be a temporary crash. I mean, this is what happened with China also. If I remember, it crashed by almost 30%, and then it went back up. So if there is a crash at all because of the South Korea, I think even if the South Korea is out of it, just like China, I think it will still keep growing up. It might take some time to pick it up.
Also, one very simple thing I'll tell you is that if South Korea stops it, it doesn't mean they'll never start again. And the best example I like to give, and I must say that I have not done any elaborate study, it is based on tweets and stuff, that Jamie Dimon, the head of JP Morgan, first came and effectively said that Bitcoin is stupid and everybody who invests in Bitcoin is stupid. And I think just a couple of days back he came and said he regrets having said that, right? Let us hope that South Korea will also come back and say they regret it.
In fact, there have been many people who have had a different opinion about Bitcoin and then they changed their opinion. And I think Mark Cuban was one of.
Oh, you want to meet somebody who thought Bitcoin was really stupid and then eventually thought it was really smart? Yeah, you're talking to him. See, I must tell you, reasonably speaking, the first time you hear of the idea of Bitcoin, it is bizarre. And you're like, seriously, are people this stupid? I have to confess that is a reasonable thing. See, people are coming at it purely as a trader mentality.
True.
They don't care about what is the logic behind it. Yeah. But I came from the logical approach and said, so there is a program which runs, which creates more coins. And then these coins are being traded and the price keeps increasing. This is stupid. But the fact is that that's why I studied it for 2 years. I regard myself as a very serious investor. I have invested in almost every asset class that is available, whether stocks, mutual funds, structured products, real estate, alternative investment funds, art, etc. I have invested in comic books, trading cards, postage stamps, coins. I think the only one that I can think of I have not invested in wine, because some people invest in wine. So I think of myself, I like to believe that I am a serious investor. So I took a long time before I put my first 1,000 rupees into Bitcoin.
Wow. And this is the kind of research I think everybody should go. If you don't understand what you're investing into, don't put your money. It's as simple as that.
It is as simple as that. Right? Okay, very, very simply. If you accidentally make money, it is no different than accidentally losing money.
True, 100%.
Right? For example, if you randomly choose any stock on the stock market today and say, I'll buy this. Sure, tomorrow the price will go up or down. Right? But that neither tells you that you are a good or a bad investor. In fact, it actually says that you're a bad investor.
So there are 54 people watching us right now.
54 people watching us.
Give this video a like, guys. There are 15 likes so far. 54 people.
Oh my god, 54 people watching and only 15 like. Arre yaar, this is my life's first YouTube live and people don't seem to like me.
You want him on the channel?
Arre, thank you. Suddenly everybody clicked there. Very good. Thank you very much. मैं मेहनत कर रहा हूँ यार. As in I'm trying. Right? I'm trying to be engaging. Or listen, by the numbers shooting up. The numbers, that 15 has become 37 likes. 37. But thanks for this yaar. As in, I don't know whether I'm talking sense, but I'm really trying to reach out to you and share my thoughts with you.
Please share your thought about this interview with discussion with Sir. Can you just put your thoughts in the comment below and let us know whether you're
here's what I'll do. Here's what I'll do. It is not reasonable for me to be typing responses, obviously, while I'm online. But I promise you that I will come back to this video once it's published, post the live session, and I will be responding to some of the questions and queries. 100%. There is no doubt about it. I'll be doing it today. Quite naturally, I can't respond to all. And not just because of time, but also because of the fact that I don't know all the answers. Yaar, kya karu? Right? As in every exam that I have gone in life, I have always studied for one part of the syllabus, which I thought will cover the most questions. So student attitude continues even now, though my hair is totally white now. So I'll answer some questions for sure.
Yeah, so maybe we'll take some more questions, couple of more. So let's see.
If you click that blue button, blue down arrow.
This is over here.
So go ahead.
So I think this would be. So he says that, and it's a brilliant question. It's a best collection of Upum Mulakam. He says, what are the reasons that may force our government to regulate Bitcoin rather than banning it?
Okay, so see, the fundamental problem that any government should have with Bitcoin is that they cannot control it. Okay, so for example, suppose they say connect your Aadhaar card to your bank account, and suppose you don't do that, they'll send you reminders, they will call you, they'll pester you, they'll send you SMS. At the end you don't do it, they can at least say, beginning such and such date, let us say 1st April, we will disallow withdrawals. Okay. And after some time they might freeze it, they might not allow you to do anything. Mobile phone, same thing. The government can say, band karo. Correct. Right? Can they link your Aadhaar card to your Bitcoin wallet address? Right? And you understand there's a problem.
Correct. Yeah.
The most I think they can do is they can say all of these exchanges, such as Pay, Coin, whatever have you. Yeah. Everybody who signs up there as part of the KYC has to give the following documents. Right. But the good thing is that these exchanges voluntarily have started doing that. Correct. The government never told them to. They have just been responsible enough to do that. In light of that, the government, because it can't control it, regulation becomes difficult. So for example, I regulate you. I'm the government and I say, this is how things will happen. And you choose not to follow my advice. As a government, I can't do anything.
Correct.
Right? If I gave you some banking instructions, you cannot withdraw more than this much cash, or you cannot do this or that, you don't follow the rules, the banks can shut you down, the government can say, take this action. Right? If an income tax department wants income tax money from you which you're not paying, the income tax department can send a notice to the bank saying freeze the account. In Bitcoin, the government does not have that ability. Now, it becomes very tricky to regulate something which you don't control. I have two sons, 14-year-old and 17-year-old. I cannot control them. If some of you are 14 and 17-year-old, you know what I'm talking about. Now imagine me trying to make rules in the house. Sleep by 10 o'clock, brush properly. I can't control them. So as a consequence, regulating them becomes difficult. When they were 5-year-old, I could regulate them because I could control them. Right. So regulation and control goes hand in hand.
Yeah. Rakesh is saying that you are such an interesting person to listen to with wonderful sense of humor. And a not like, it's a super like.
Kya baat hai? I wish some of these kind...
Let me see if... You are super, sir, so positive. Anuj Matthews. We were busy listening to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Subhash says you're rocking, sir.
Arey yaar, question पूछो अभी seriously.
Yeah, so Robert has mentioned most of the people are not able to understand blockchain technology, and that is why there is a lot of confusion. Okay, let me see if there are any questions. So Pradeep Sakhare says, what is the specialty of Ripple coin? What are the features of Ripple that is different from Bitcoin?
Yeah, so Pradeep, there are many differences. Two of the differences are that the Ripple is supported by banks. Right? If you like that a lot, then you should put money in Ripple maybe. Second thing is that Ripple, there's a lot more Ripple that can be released into the market depending on how the price movement goes. Basically, okay, I'll make it easier. The characteristic of Ripple which causes some people to love it, which does not include me, is that there is somebody or there is a set of people out there who can control how Ripple works. Bitcoin nobody can control. Right? When I say nobody, of course you can have the hard forks and soft forks, and if 51% plus of the people choose to make a certain fork, that can be done. But in Ripple there is an institutional decision making which decides whether something happens, whether more Ripple is released, etc., which is not very different from how fiat currencies work. Right? So when we love Bitcoin, we love it for its blockchain, and we also love it for its decentralization and the lack of an authority. So the blockchain bit probably Ripple has managed. I have not studied the underlying technology, but the fact that there is somebody controlling it, the fact that there is somebody making decisions for it, I don't know. The philosophically just cannot align with that.
Not the safest place to be in.
No, it may be more safe than Bitcoin. So safety-wise, you can't say. So safety is another matter. But like I said at the beginning of this, video, that my religion doesn't allow me to buy Ripple.
Correct.
Right.
Okay. So, Kumar Gaurav, he is saying, sir, you said Bitcoin Cash be the next Bitcoin. How are you evaluating this statement of yours? What are the parameters that? Okay.
So, first of all, I must say, by the way, great name, Kumar Gaurav.
Yeah.
Okay, there is the actor by that name who did Ek Duje Ke Liye, which I had watched as a school student. What a great love story. Coming back to your question, so I do not say this with a very high degree of confidence. I say this with speculatively that maybe this could happen. The reason is threefold. First, Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash are the same, in terms of how many you hold, etc., because they gave it to you free. Second, it was not pre-mined or any of the scammy stuff that some of the guys later did, with this Bitcoin Gold, Bitcoin Diamond, Bitcoin whatever, all of those.
I stopped looking at those folks.
Yeah. So, it is a little difficult to not want them, the free coins that come your way, airdrop kiya, let me have this. But yeah, so continuing on your question, technologically, it has become a little better, because it allows for flexible block size going all the way up to whatever number it is, etc. And because they gave the same number of Bitcoin Cash to everybody, maybe people could say, you know what, this is more sensible, it's the same value we have, let us work here. Having said that, if you ask me what is the probability I attach to that, I think it is less than 50% likely. Because first, if it starts looking real, then the people at the Bitcoin core and people who can actually make the flexible block size, get the SegWit 2.0, whatever, they'll rush and do it. They don't want to lose their value, right? But yes, I do not regard Bitcoin Cash like I regard alt currencies in general, because I regard Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash as this one entity. Right? Any one of them could go forward. I still think it's going to be Bitcoin, but I don't say that with a high degree of confidence.
Right. So this is a question. Another one.
एक बात बताओ. We are at 46 minutes.
46 minutes.
किधर तक जाना है?
Okay, that's a nice question.
Because सबको घर जाना है, मुझे घर जाना है.
So guys, probably we'll take 3 more questions.
एक काम करो, टाइम के बारे में सोचते हैं. क्वेश्चन तो कितने भी लेंगे, depending on whether it's a small question or big question.
ठीक है. So probably next 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
और 10 मिनट करते हैं.
So 55 पे खत्म करते हैं.
ठीक है.
Okay.
So so here's a question. Here says that which are the other crypto? Rakesh says, which are the other crypto which are exactly like BTC that no one owns it?
Understood. Yeah. So several of them. For example, Ether is not one of them. The reason Ether, which is commonly called Ethereum, but rightly should be called Ether, there's the people who set it up, the founder is, and they can suddenly change proof of work to proof of stake, etc. But there are several of them, as in frankly giving you a list of names becomes meaningless. For example, Litecoin. Let's take the case of Litecoin. on the face of it, it definitely works like Bitcoin and has the characteristics of being decentralized, not owned by anybody. But when I look at the price movements, while I have already told the audience that I'm not an expert in price movement reading, but I get the feeling that there is a concerted effort. Okay, I say this very irresponsibly, that there could be some small number of people who could influence its price. This is what I worry about. Right? I don't get the same worry in Bitcoin or Bitcoin Cash.
Right. Okay. So, okay. Let's see what do we have. Okay, Kumar Gaurav said thank you.
Yes, Kumar Gaurav. Interestingly, I don't remember your heroine's name, यार. In एक दूजे के लिए उसका नाम वो भी नहीं थी. ये दोनों शायद first timers थे. And you know, they had that हम बने तुम बने एक दूजे के लिए song. Probably your viewers don't know it, yaar. As in they were not born then. It is oldies like me. And you know, by the way, this also distinguishes me from a lot of people in the Bitcoin space. People with so much white on their face are not the guys who are getting into Bitcoin. People with a lot of black on their face are getting into Bitcoin.
So here's a question, sir. There is a question, sir. Is Hashgraph technology better than? Is it a challenge to blockchain technology? Hashgraph. There was a recent news.
Is Hashgraph technology a challenge to blockchain? My expert answer for that is I have no idea. I've never heard of it. पहली बार सुन रहा हूँ. Okay, so I have no idea, man. Sorry about that. क्या करें?
Cool. So Nanda Kishore, will you have Indians coins in the future? That's a nice question. So what he actually means is that will we have an Indian coin like Lakshmi coin we were talking about? Will we have something like this in future? You see.
If you have watched that movie, Shah Rukh Khan ki movie, where he's the trader, recent movie, यार सच नाम भूल गया. जब धंधा अच्छा होता है जो बुरा नहीं हो, some dialogue माँ कहती थी कि धंधा कभी बुरा नहीं होता और बुरा कभी धंधा, some dialogue, नाम कैसे भूल गया मूवी का. But basically the logic is that when there is potential for buyers to buy, there will be somebody who will come and sell it to you. I think there are going to be a lot of Indian coins which already exist. We may not know that Indians have been releasing those coins. A lot of them could be scam coins. A lot of them. Let me emphasize that again. A lot of them could be scam coins. Okay, so just be very careful. Indian coin, US coin, aisa coin, vaisa coin. Don't get stuck into this. Some people will say they made so much money in ICO and they must have, but that, you know, as in purely wildly speculative ICO investment, new coin investment is very scary. I think that the regulator, if they tolerate Bitcoin, will definitely get the idea that why don't we have our own coin.
Correct.
Right? So yes, there could be a coin, or you know, the central bank taking a view that certain kind of banking transactions could move to the blockchain using tokens. And if you know, really this thing about currency and coin is, you know, a little overhyped. Basically this is the token that is used to, you know, get the blockchain authentication of transactions going. So that is probably going to happen.
We got the movie Race.
Race. किसी ने बोला इधर बोला अरे हाँ शख्स
Sheikh Zamil.
So many people said yeah, I was talking of Race. और अभी देखो, now since your guys are so helpful, तो वो डायलॉग क्या था? मेरी अम्मी कहती थी कि कोई भी धंधा बुरा नहीं होता. वो भी प्लीज लिख के दो कमेंट में. I'm like now very keen to know what dialogue I am missing. So please tell me if that dialogue comes.
Yeah. Okay, this is like a general, like Warren Buffett's comments on crypto. Warren Buffett. So he made some comments. I think is what he said basically is I'm not somebody who has studied the technology and cryptocurrencies, but I'm not against it. People are doing it their own risk. So my funda is very simple. If I don't understand something, I won't put my money into. That's what
I have not seen his video where he has talked about this. I always worry reading news articles because sometimes I feel that the author adds their own masala to it. But having said that, let us assume the worst case where Warren Buffett said that Bitcoin bakwas hai, Bitcoin is a scam, it's a Ponzi scheme. Let's just say he says that because, you know, kya kare? Sab log humko roz yahi bolte hain. It is okay. I think that is fine.
Yeah.
I don't think that even Warren Buffett arrogates himself the right of saying that he can never be wrong. I think it is fine. It is only reasonable that we as a society or a civilization have not gone crazy where everybody is having only one view. I have a certain view. I have put my money where my mouth is. I don't give people advice. Even people who are watching this video, I'm not telling you to invest in crypto. In fact, I'm not telling you to buy, I'm not telling you to sell, I'm not giving you any advice. I can share with you what I've done. And Warren Buffett is welcome to share what he has done.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, people should have their opinion and should be able to express their opinion, I guess. So we'll take one last question, guys, because Sir has to leave. And it's already been 52 minutes, but I want to thank each one of you for joining us here on the live. So one last question, let's take... okay, by the way, you've got the whole dialogue.
अच्छा क्या है बता?
कोई भी धंधा
मैंने चश्मा नहीं पहना, बट दूर से ऐसे पढ़ लेता हूँ. कोई भी धंधा छोटा नहीं होता और धंधे से बड़ा कोई धर्म नहीं होता. मूवी राइस. कुमार गौरव, thank you very much यार. As in if I'm again on a YouTube live, make sure you are there because you are helping me a lot. Damn nice. Thank you very much. But you had to take one more question.
Yeah, I'll take the last question. Nasreen says, cool stream, see you later. Okay. Okay. Crypto Pro Crazy, he says Kodak is coming up with the blockchain and going for ICO. What do you think about others like Apple, Amazon? They will also launch an ICO. So this will be the last question.
So see, when Kodak or you said Kodak, right?
Kodak and Telegram.
And Telegram, when they are launching their ICOs, here's my opinion on ICOs. And logically, my opinion on ICO should be identical to my opinion on altcoin. But it is not. And I'll explain this. The way I see it is, if you're a startup or an advanced company like Kodak or Telegram, you can issue your shares, give up share of part of your ownership, issue your equity shares or some other form of ownership and raise money against it. This has been commonly done by companies as small as new startups to as big as the biggest companies, whether it's Amazon, Microsoft, and in India it's HDFC Bank, State Bank or Reliance Industries. The ICO offers a very interesting way of raising capital where you don't give away ownership, but you give away ownership of your future income stream, where there's no organization, because frankly the organization is not so important. It is that the future income stream. So if Telegram and Kodak, which are clearly, organizations in the conventional sense of the term, are choosing to take that approach, I think that's great. Now the coin that comes out of this ICO, do I view it as, yet another altcoin? Do I then view it as a stock market ka share?
Security kind of.
Right, a security. Those things become very tough. Regulators, especially in the US, seem to have taken a view. But I think that on the whole, I see this as a positive sign. I worry that people keep using the ICO route because they can't raise money otherwise. I think Telegram as well as Kodak could have raised money from stock markets. They are choosing to raise money through the ICO route. I see this as some kind of a validation of this being yet another instrument for capital formation, and that's great.
Yeah, I mean, right.
So now Shiv is going to start giving his closing comments and I'm going to sit here and look pretty.
Okay, so thank you so much for your time, first of all, sir. I really appreciate removing the time out from your busy schedule and giving it to crypto conversation. So we all appreciate that. Thank you so much. And thank you everyone for joining us here on the live session. And before we wrap up, sir, if people want to follow you somewhere on Twitter or something, where can they do so?
So I think that first, like I said, take some time, spend the next 5-10 minutes throwing in some comments or questions.
Yeah.
I will try to respond to several of them.
Yeah.
Probably Twitter might be the best place, because if you send me a Facebook friend request, I'll not take it. I'm almost always at 5,000.
So what
Twitter,
would be the Twitter handle?
Yeah. Which is AJEETK. Okay, I'll also throw it down somewhere in one of the
I'll
comments.
put that link in the description below. I think, sir, these questions will go off because these are only in the chat. So,
oh, is that so? So
yeah.
All these questions that we see will no longer be present.
No.
See, I don't know how YouTube Live works, but after this is no longer live. Can they not come and leave a comment on that?
They can on the in the comments below.
Beautiful.
That can be
so
done.
do that. So if you really want, again, please, I'm not guaranteeing a response because I may not know the answer. It's really that simple.
True.
But I will try to respond to several questions.
Yeah. So you can reach out to with sir on his Twitter handle. That's the easiest way. And thank you so much for everyone for joining us, and see you guys soon. Okay. I hope you enjoyed that.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
I enjoyed it.
Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, बंद कैसे होता है ये? अच्छा ऐसे